So as I told you yesterday, I butchered chickens. I told you I was going to butcher chickens today. I butchered chickens today, and we got quite a bit. Wasn't really sure how many roosters we had, but there's one of the chicken legs. So I butchered 5 today, and so now they're going to rest in the cooler for 24 hours. That way rigor mortis will settle down and won't be so tough. I've tried to cook a chicken before right after you butcher it, and the meat gets so tough. Even when you boil it for several hours, it won't loosen up. You let it set for 24 hours, it loosens up, and then you can boil it. And then tomorrow we'll start canning. Now, just like I didn't show you the butchering of the chicken, I'm not going to show you the canning process either. The chicken butchering I didn't show because so many people get upset about it. YouTube gets upset about it. Now the canning, if you want to see my canning videos, I did a bunch of them last year. I mean a bunch. So you just go to my channel and there's some tabs and you go to playlist, scroll down, you'll see canning. Click on that and you'll see me canning beef and chicken and pork and bacon. I think this is important. I think we're just getting down to, if you like the way life has been for you all your life, this is the only way you're going to be able to continue to do it. They're really trying to stop us from being able to eat meat and vegetables. I've told you that we raise our chickens. I incubated 17 of them. We incubated 21, but no, 15 survived. And out of the 15, well, until today, they were all still alive. We're going to keep the hens. We talked about butchering the hens also that we incubated, but we decided we don't have enough egg producers. We're close. So we've counted it up, and there's going to be 6 more hens down there after we get all the roosters butchered. So I think there's 4 more roosters down there, 4 or 5. It's hard to count. They're, running around, and it's hard to figure out what you got. So that will give us 9 roosters that we butchered, and we'll get them canned up, and that'll give us, I don't know, probably 40 more jars of food. That's 40 days worth of food for Carolyn and me. We can them in pints. Then you can feed your chickens without going to the store. I've showed you in the past that you can sprout sunflower seeds in a bottle or a tray, dish tray or any kind of tray. So you sprout them, and that gives the chickens their protein. And then you can just go around your property giving them the grass and the weeds and all. That way they have their full diet. Chickens are really easy to raise. And the thing is eggs is probably the most nutritious thing you can have. No matter how much I talk about a carnivorous diet on my channel, people still come up and say, no, you can't survive on meat. Well, Carolyn and I have almost done it for a year now, and we've never been healthier, never been stronger. People are convinced that the doctors are telling the truth. I watched a video from someone said that the carnivorous diet is hard on the liver and different things. Well, the thing is there has been indigenous people up in Alaska who have been eating meat, and that's it. They can't grow vegetables up there, and they live 80, 90 years old. But here in the United States, in the continental United States, we eat all this processed garbage. It's all corn, carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are absolutely terrible for you. And somebody was telling me today, oh no, you got to have beans in your diet because beans provide amino acids and you got to have that. What they seem to not understand is meat provides everything you need. You don't need anything else. The only thing meat does not provide is vitamin C. It has vitamin C, so if you eat meat raw, you could have vitamin C also, but apparently when you cook meat, vitamin C boils out of it. What's strange to me though is that when you cook tomatoes still have their vitamin C, so I don't understand why it evaporates out of meat but not tomatoes. So that kind of makes me think it's another scientist voodoo thing that they come up with. I mean, I've heard people say that doctors say you got to have carbohydrates while they're giving their patients insulin. You're giving your patients sugar. Get them off the sugar. Carbohydrates turns into sugar. You don't need it. People say, oh, you got to have carbohydrates for energy. Why? Meat provides all the energy you need. And chickens are so easy to raise. And so when you get eggs are like a superfood now. It has everything. So I'm convinced that meat diet's the way to go. And even if you do decide to eat vegetables, eat green beans, lettuce, spinach, those kind of things, no carbohydrates. You don't want carbohydrates. But we see vegetarian doctors talk about vegetarian all over YouTube who've decided to get off the vegetarian diet because they were dying from it. I mean, you see all these vegetarians and they look like skinny fat people. And what I mean by that is they're skinny, but they have no muscle mass. I've never been stronger in my life. I'm 50 years old and I was thinking, okay, age is catching up with me. Now I'm on a meat diet. I'm getting stronger. I can walk further. I'm walking up and down the hill all day long. I carried 15 bags of feed the other day on my shoulders, 2 at a time, just up and down the hill, up and down the hill. I just can't believe it at 50 years old how well this works. You get off the carbohydrates, inflammation. People talk about their back problems. Now I know when I say this, people go, oh no, you can't cure my back with meat. But Carolyn has a ruptured, I don't know, what do you call it? Anyway, she has a debilitating back injury. Now the back injury is still there, but when you get off carbohydrates, the inflammation goes away. And that's what causes the daily pain. You know, you have that injury, it's there, you know it's there, but the inflammation is what causes the massive amount. I got to sit down, I can't move, the pain is swollen. Same thing with the arthritis and the shoulder aches. Oh, I had a shoulder problem so bad splitting all that firewood. Started eating meat, went away. I had breathing issues. My bronchial tube was getting inflamed. You know how you kind of choke on your liquids and saliva sometimes? It just happens. Well, it would instantly get inflamed. I started a meat diet, didn't change anything, just started a meat diet. That went away. So my asthma went away is what I'm saying. I mean, I really think I had asthma and it went away. I don't go to doctors. I don't trust them. Every person I know that went to a doctor for serious medical issues died. And they always say, oh, I got the best doctor in the world. Well, wow, best doctor in the world, and he died. So how's he the best doctor in the world? I don't have a doctor, and I'm still alive. So, you know, knock on wood. I'm going to do what I think's right and what makes me feel good. Healthy, not good, healthy. We know that the governments of the world and the economic thing, you know, the ones with all the elitists that they even say they're elitist and they're going to eliminate the population. They've already said what they're going to do. And what they're going to do is they're going to ban food, ban meat and vegetables. And we see it happening already. So they've been telling us for years, we have to be vegetarians, we have to be vegetarians. Well, all of a sudden, they started banning fertilizers all throughout the world. Even Canada has some restrictions now on fertilizer, like 50% or something. I mean, it's ridiculous. That you can't put fertilizer out on your fields to grow vegetables. Everything they've been telling us to eat. So there won't be any feed for the cows and the chickens and all that. So you have to raise your own and raise your own sunflower seeds. And you use compost. So what they want to do now is get rid of meat and vegetables completely and put us on bugs. They want us to eat bugs. And they've already started doing it. You can read the packages of some things you buy now and you'll see cricket flour. Now, you read it and you think, oh, maybe that's something, I don't know what that is. It's actually crickets made into flour. So they're already feeding us bugs. They didn't ask us our permission, they just started doing it. Just watched a video, some people in Australia tricked 3 kids into eating bug chips. They were potato chips, and well, they weren't potatoes, they were bug chips. And of course, the kids were just eating it up, tastes real good, you know, oh, this is great. Well, then they told them, it's crickets, what do you think? Oh, it's fine, we love it. So they're already indoctrinating our children to eat bugs. But the one that has me really nervous is lab-grown meat. I mean, I'm not going to eat bugs, but the lab-grown meat, definitely not going to eat. We don't know anything about it, but it's already got USDA approval and FDA approval. They didn't do any long-term studies on it. They just said, oh, well, it doesn't have listeria and E. coli and all that, so it's good. So there's a company in Jerusalem, I think. I forget the name of the company, but by the end of the year, they intend to start feeding us this lab-grown meat in a petri dish is how it's going to grow. Well, I think McDonald's is going to try to buy into this for their chicken nuggets. I haven't read anything on this, but Tyson Foods has already purchased or bought into this company or financed it or something. Well, Tyson Food is what produces the chicken nuggets for McDonald's. So it would make sense that Tyson Food would switch their chicken menu over to this lab-grown meat. They would save a bundle, with all the processing fees that they have to go through, because I was in a company. I should back up a little bit. I actually visited a company when I was a consultant for laboratories, and I watched them slaughter the chickens and make the chicken nuggets and how they were produced and flavored and all that and frozen and sent out to McDonald's. Well, if they didn't have to have all those employees doing all that chicken, and Tyson Foods raised their own chicken, and you could just grow meat in a lab or factory, I'm sure the cost is just minuscule. And that's the thing, is we will eat all this junk food, all this garbage, this carbohydrates and these processed foods because it's cheap to make. Potato chips, huge carbohydrates. Potatoes have tons of carbohydrates. Garbage, noodles, garbage, bread, garbage. All of it's just garbage. It all comes from corn and potatoes. If it has a corn or potato product in it, it's sugar. And if I told you I want you to start eating just sugar for supper, you would say, no, I'm crazy. But when I give you spaghetti, you'll say, oh, that's good for you. It's got corn. It's terrible. It's like eating sugar. So they're going to force us into eating all this. And so there's no better time than right now to start raising your own food. Whatever it is, you're not going to get the flavors that you want, but Carolyn and I haven't done that forever. I mean, we go to the grocery store, it's pork or chicken, it's the cheap stuff. Whatever we can find on sale. We went to the store a while back, and they had the sale buffet, whatever you call it, leaves open freezers. They had these little packages of meat that was $1 off, $2 off, whatever it is. What it is getting ready to come up on the expiration date, and they need to get it sold, so they put the sticker on it that says $2 off. Nobody was touching that meat. Nobody. Carolyn took it all because nobody else was looking at it. Instead, everybody's looking at the beef products. You just forget about the beef products. They're just too expensive. They're already taking us poor folks out of the market for beef. So you just go and buy cheap meat. So the pork and the chicken. Well, chicken isn't cheap anymore. I just heard the other day that turkey is going to go for $6 a pound. Imagine that. You buy a 20-pound turkey, that's going to be $120 for your family, for a turkey. So even turkey's out of hand. Now, what they said, I should back up. Like Kroger Foods, they bought turkey earlier in the year, so they'll be able to keep their prices down. But if your store is buying turkey right now, expect to pay $6 a pound for Thanksgiving. Well, I would rather butcher my own chicken, put it in a fryer somehow, and have fried chicken instead of fried turkey. We don't have an oven, so we had to figure out different ways of cooking things. But so take action now. So if you'll click this up next box, I'd really appreciate it. So if I can inspire you to grow your own food so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.